Okay, thanks for tuning in for another episode of Science at Home with Mrs. McRae. Today we are looking at a little bit of a challenge for using some paper and how we can change the properties of the paper, change the things that we can do with it. So the first up, you kind of set the challenge of can you balance a cup on top of two other cups just using a piece of paper. So we grabbed just our normal A4 printed paper. I grabbed this one out of our printer, and when I put my cup on there, it can't hold it on the paper there, so it just falls in between. If I put them a little bit further apart, it goes straight through. So our paper can't hold the cup. However, we can do something to the paper that then changes its properties or what it's able to do. So what I've done to this paper is I have folded it, just got the same type of bit of paper, folded it what we call concertina style. So I'm folding it one way and then folding it the other way to keep going along there to what I get. You might call it a fan, you might call it a concertina. So what I've done is I've put those folds in the paper. So now when I put my cups together and I put my glass on top, I'm able to balance it on there. Just have to make sure it is lining up on those folds, and I can balance my cup on there. So the difference between when I had my plain piece of paper and when I had my folded piece of paper was that my cup was resting on a very small amount of the paper. So all of the weight of the cup was going on that one little circle. As soon as I fold it, it's now distributed across more of the paper, and that's why it's able to hold more weight. So obviously the smaller the folds, the more weight that you can hold, and you can play around with what you could balance on there and see how heavy an object you can get to balance. You might want to start working with a plastic cup to start with rather than a glass, or go with some books or heavy objects like that. This technique is used in lots of things that we will see around the house. So if you've ever had a look at some cardboard and you've looked along the edge, we have that corrugation, they call it, in there, and that strengthens it. So the actual paper that it's made out of isn't very strong, but once we put that corrugated section in and the two layers together, it becomes a nice strong cardboard that we can use. You might have also noticed it in things like corrugated panels on your roof, or even like your fence can be corrugated, and it gives that extra strength to the fence by putting those folds in there. Have a go at making one of these at home and see if you can build a tower, hold a nice lot of weight on your cups on using some corrugated paper, concertina paper. If you get a nice one built, make sure you take a photo and post it below in the comments so we can see what you've done at home. Have fun doing some science at home.